All right, so hello, welcome. This is Meltwater Pulse. My name is Gab. I go by Murphy K in the music realm. I'm going to let everybody else introduce themselves, and I'm going to trust them to pick the order they go in.
Not it.
All right. I'm Jen. I'm Jana. I go by Janelyn Rose. Welcome.
My name is Shane Olivo, and I record a lot of Meltwater Pulse and mix them. And next is Brett.
My name is Brett. I go by Brett JB, and I'm feeling very exposed in this light. I feel like this would be. I feel much more at home as a creature of darkness. So I'd say, hey, I have a question. Were you recording when we were talking about Raina? Because we should give them a shout out in our comments, along with Jeff Robinson.
Yes.
Who is always going to get a shout out.
Yes.
You're spoiling it, Brett.
If we ever get merch, that's the first design.
Jeff Robinson.
Thank you, Jeff Robinson.
Yeah. But we should always give him a shout out. It's like one of those
plastic thank you bags. You know what I'm talking about? Where it says thank you. And then at the very end, it says Jeff Robinson.
Just in Sharpie.
Wait, what's Shane's idea about it?
It's just that we always need to mention him at the end, so he actually has to listen to the thing.
Okay, this one doesn't count, Jeff. You need to listen to. You need to rediscover it.
We might say your name again if you like the sound of your own name.
Did Shane even introduce himself?
Yeah. And then
intros are over.
There's some weird poltergeist shit happening on Brett's cube.
Oh, lovely.
That's creepy. I don't know why.
What happened?
Your door is just creepy.
Yeah,
that's the east side, though.
No, and
door's just open.
I live with a goblin.
Earn
pig.
Yeah. And you can't see him come in because he's too small.
Yeah.
Perfect. And his head is battering ram shaped, so works.
It is large.
Did it turn on the light though? That's what I want to know.
Why do you call him it? He is a he.
He does call all animals it.
Yeah.
He may have.
He called my dog it to her face, and then Jana yelled at him.
I'm lucky he doesn't call me it, to be honest.
All right. The topic that we decided on tonight are reflect on a few of your personal favorite bands or artists, and then say why you like them, and then why they are or are not similar to you. Long prompt.
Who wants to go first? I can go first.
Okay.
Shane.
Okay. My favorite artist in recent years is probably Kanye West. I like Kanye. I like his approach to music because it incorporates more fine art. He comes from kind of more of a background of fine art and brings that into his music. And so it's focused a lot on his process and history, and he brings a lot of different other artists with other histories into, he works with them. So I think on his last video, he is during the COVID thing, he had some really interesting African American filmmaker do the video for it. And he was bringing in cell phone footage of different people, and he kind of combined YouTube footage. To me, it's just interesting. And his watching the process of what he does is really interesting. And we've covered this.
Had a video with only cell phone footage that was used.
Sure, right. But I mean, you know.
Mine was because I'm poor.
Right, yeah. It wasn't.
But when you're rich, it's art.
Yeah. When you're rich, it becomes an aesthetic. Mm-hmm. And I've brought this up probably in some other videos, but Kanye's the documentary on how he made My Twisted Dark Fantasy. He was basically, to recap in very short amount of time, because I don't want this to go on forever, even though I tend to do that. So he booked out a studio in Hawaii, but like that had 4 different rooms, 4 different control rooms, Studio A through D, for months. And he had all different artists working on his record at the same time. And he would kind of bounce in between all the tracks getting worked on by different people, and the different people from the rooms would kind of bounce around. And that's one of the inspirations for the whole Meltwater Pulse thing was, having a group of people act as producers. So yeah, Kanye is one of my favorites. Are we doing more than one, or should we just do one?
You can do more than one.
We
can like popcorn it and go through everyone, and like, if you would like to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the other artist that probably comes to mind is I like the Pixies a lot. The older, like
Pixies.
Yeah.
Fake fan.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much anything that they're doing nowadays, but when they were active before they broke up the first time, because I'm old, when the Pixies were around and you heard the records, it was mind blowing. Like it literally sounded like nothing else. And it was very inspiring when I had my band, The New Loud, because when you were listening to the Pixies, it wasn't just like punk, or it wasn't just hardcore, or it wasn't pop. It was like this weird combination of all 3 of them that hadn't been explored before in a very unique way. And so when I was doing The New Loud, it was, how do I represent all these different facets of my influences? Like I was really into hip hop and dance things, but also pop, but also punk. And the Pixies were kind of a great inspiration for that. Who would like to go next? Oh no. We lost one.
I'm gonna go, but I just have to say some stuff about like this question in general. Don't you guys ever feel like you have to impress people with your band? Like if you're at a bar, or when that was a thing, going to bars, like when someone would be like, "Yo, what's up, man? Like, what do you listen to?" And then I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I gotta like hide my lame bands that I like and pull out my ones with cred." Do you ever like feel that? Like I can't like, and I'm feeling this like nervousness and anxiety right now before I share.
I think I felt that like in high school.
No, like my first instinct was to list like composers. So yeah, I had to write down what was relevant, because my first thought was like Debussy and Chopin.
Yeah, but that's cool.
We fucking
I want to say, Gabby,
Chopin in this fucking house.
Gabby, you are the reason that I have anxiety about this question. People like you.
Why?
Because she's just like, I had that when I was in high school. Yeah. That's the type of answers one of those people would give. I'd be like, I like band X. They'd be like, oh, cool, man. I like that when I was in high school, man. And I'd be like, see, I already fucked up.
First of all, I'll have you know that the bands I liked in high school are still fucking awesome. So.
You.
No. Universally. Universally acclaimed.
Now I'm going to answer with three bands, 2 of which I can say proudly, I think, and 1 of which I'll probably get made fun of, but I don't care. Elliott Smith, The Cure, and Coldplay. Fucking love Coldplay. There's just like, you can't say that you like Coldplay and still like.
I will have an interesting follow-up to that, Brett. But
be cool. But all right, maybe. Let's hear Janice now, and let's hear Janice and Gabby's. Then maybe we'll circle back around.
Wait, Brett. Like what? So I can see how you would like Elliott Smith, because a lot of your songs start out in an Elliott Smith-esque fashion, and then they get kind of like popped up, you know. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of feel like the poppiness. I can see where it comes with the Coldplay, but when you're talking about The Cure, The Cure is very like they've gone through. They're so old, and every record from The Cure sounds totally different from any other record. Maybe up until like recent times, where I think they kind of after like the year 2000 or something, it kind of just homogenizes a little bit. But what Cure stuff do you really like?
The pop Cure stuff.
But I mean, like specific songs.
Just like Heaven.
Okay.
Like Friday I'm in Love. I like Love Cats. I like A Forest. I like the Caterpillars, kind of cool. I don't know if I'd call it a pop one.
I hope no one's expecting me to name this many song names. My short-term
Caterpillars.
recall is trash, so there's no way.
Caterpillar's a super pop song because it's got the whatever that hook is super pop.
I mean, it's but that's why I like.
Is this a song I would have heard?
Yeah, it goes flicka. Here you are.
Oh, fucking Boys Don't Cry. That's another good. Like to me, these songs are all just like substantial pop songs. Which is why I like them.
I knew Friday I'm in Love. I knew that one.
Like they have good hooks. They have good like chord progression, and they're just like the pacing is like good, and everything about it is a pop song, with the exception of. I think I was thinking about this the other day of why they're not just straight up pop songs, why they have like a darkness or like a substance to them. And I guess it's just like the singer, Robert
like
Smith, right? He's just
to me.
There's like
my brain only I'm sorry.
You can talk, Abby. What are you saying?
No, now the embarrassment of interrupting you immediately cannon blasted whatever idea I was going to say out of my head.
All right, we'll come back to whatever you're going to say later.
Is it kind of like when like your pet is wearing like an invisible collar, like an invisible fence thing?
Yes.
Is that what just happened right now?
Yeah. Sometimes I immediately get so embarrassed by something that I say or do that I can feel my brain putting whatever I did into a little envelope and putting it onto a rocket ship and shooting it to the moon. So I never have to think about that moment again.
I was just ranting about like why they're not just straight up pop songs, like why they're not Katy Perry pop songs.
Because I can answer that. It's because like probably more than 95% of the songs that The Cure makes aren't pop songs, and they are mostly dark. And so their pop songs like come from this body of work that like grabs like the darkness of them with it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
I think
like
that's why.
you do in your head, or is that like somehow reflected in the music?
I would say like when I watched an interview recently with them, and they were talking about. They were asking them. The interviewer was basically asking them like why they don't write poppier stuff, and this is a real like very early '80s thing, you know. They were basically saying, oh, well, we don't care what people think. We don't care if we're big, if people like us or they don't like us or whatever. But, you know, back in the 80s, you could still kind of be arty and get money and be on a label. Whereas now everyone's just kind of scrambling to capture someone's attention at some point.
Saying that you don't care what people think of you at an interview feels semi-disingenuous.
It kind of does, except I should try to share the part of the interview at some point.
Or even just not in an interview, even just in a conversation. If you're like, I don't care what people think of me, I'm going to be like, you wanted me to know that about you.
Yeah.
Which is why it came out of your mouth.
But at the same time, like this is, I want to say it was from the 17 Seconds record or something like that. That was the record with the forest on it that you mentioned, Brett. And so at the time, I want to say that they're like 22 or something. You know what I mean? So you get kind of, you know, you can excuse people saying like pretend, if people are younger, they can say pretentious stuff and be like, okay, well, whatever.
But okay, here's an interesting question. If you showed the Friday, that's too much. Like, Just Like Heaven, or Boys Don't Cry. Say we showed one of those two songs to a person who's never heard The Cure before. We just showed them those songs. Would they be able to pick up that it's like a dark pop song? Or would they just be like, who the fuck is this like pop band? Because your answer was that they're not straight up pop because the rest of their albums are not pop. But I'm wondering if there's something you can sense from those songs.
I'm saying that their general darkness vibe that all the other songs are steeped in kind of like rubs off on the pop songs in some fashion or another. And
yeah, but you're relating them to the other songs. Brett's saying take them by themselves. Do they have? And to me, yes, they have a dark element to them still.
I think so too. I just don't know why. That's what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they have a dark element because the other darkness rubs off on the songs, like while they're writing them, and it infuses it with this darkness.
Lyrics?
Yeah, but what is that element? Just like it's too vague of an answer to be like just a vibe.
To me, there's no real like high, like sharp synths. Everything kind of has this like mid-tone and dark or lower ranges that gets brought out, including in his voice. So to me, like the literal darkness is kind of in the timbres that they choose. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I can see that.
They definitely have some synths, but yeah, they do sound kind of like dull or like beaten up or something.
Right. They don't have shimmery like Katy Perry quality to them. Like trying to put like a contrasting artist in my head.
But Just Like Heaven does, and Boys Don't Cry has like a higher pitched like lead guitar part.
Yeah, but there still does. Maybe it's again like I don't know what I'm responding to, like their vibe as a whole or that synth, but something about the synth in Just Like Heaven still sounds kind of like muted or something to me.
Okay.
Maybe because it's a little bit more down tempo too.
It's not really down tempo either. No. Like those are like.
I have to listen to them.
Yeah, Jen, I think
that's probably like one in the 130s, 140s, which is pretty fast.
I wonder how good the AIs are at catching people doing other people's songs. Probably very bad.
Well, not like that.
Yeah, that wasn't really a good
it was a parody. Fair use. Piano?
Okay. Were we still talking about me? Because I guess I have more to say, but I feel like I've talked for a while.
Yeah, you can go. You can keep going.
Well, if we're like, okay, so Elliott Smith, The Cure, and Coldplay, like if you I think I bounce like, I don't think I've connected all those a whole lot. I think I connect them sometimes in like a chorus, but in general, I don't think like I've connected I don't think I have a song where you're like, oh yes, I see all of those three. And I don't know if they really are connectable, but that's the other part of the question, right? It's like, do you sound like them?
Well, if it wasn't like the poppy songs by The Cure, it would like some of your stuff could have the Elliott Smith / more depressing Cure songs vibe, like Garden Grey, for instance. If we're gonna go way back in time,
yeah. Do you think?
What do you like about Elliott Smith? I never really got into Elliott Smith or Coldplay, so I'm interested in hearing more about either one of these and why you like them.
All right, Elliott Smith, I think is just like he was like a master of like chord changes. Like they're super complicated songs actually. Like if you try, like I always try to like, I'd be like, Miss Misery chords, I'll Google it. Miss Misery, and then I'll look at it, and I remember being like 20 and trying to learn it, and it was way harder than I thought. And then I started listening to that. He has all like these inverted chords and just strange, like these bridges that shouldn't work, but they do work. And then they're also like good melodies, and like I would call them pop melodies, but they don't sound sugary. And I guess that's all like the thread connecting these. And Coldplay does that sometimes, but they definitely get into like the sugary, like indulgent, blah kind of area too. But when I think sometimes they do hit a good spot of like being meaningful pop songs. Like who else here has liked Coldplay? Raise your hand. Anyone? Just me?
Well, what's interesting about Coldplay is one of my favorites, which we'll talk about that in a second. But
we'll talk about it now.
Yeah, it's related. Yeah.
So, one of my favorites, for whatever reason, it might have been because I just like resonated so deeply with Somewhere Only We Know, but Keane is like one of my favorite bands. I'm not sure why. I think really because their singer, Tom Chapman, was almost in Coldplay, which is interesting, but he's like got the most beautiful voice in the world to me.
Jen, I think we should talk about, like, to be fair and to make it interesting, I think we should, because Keane is they get viewed kind of similarly to Coldplay, and I would almost say almost worse. Like, I looked up Keane and Coldplay on Pitchfork, and like they get kind of ripped apart. Coldplay sometimes, Keane all the time, and it's like we should dive into why that's the case.
I would definitely not put them. I would disagree with Brett on putting them on par with one another.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because like Coldplay has they're so much bigger that it just feels like people, there's like a critical mass of people who don't like Coldplay because they're so popular. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they're just they've got more haters because they've
kind of pop rock
because they've got bands and they're throwing them.
Yeah.
So Keane, the reason I like Keane is because their melodies are so strong and they read like books to me. Like the lyrics and the music fit each other like gloves in like every song that Keane does, and I love the way they incorporate the instrumentation, and I feel like the storyline is just like perfectly matched with like the melodies that he sings. Plus, he's got orgasmic
That is
voice.
exactly how I feel about the Decemberists and Colin Malloy. Same exact feeling with like how the music and the lyrics and the story all totally interweave like really well.
And what's that? Flaming Lips seems to kind of do that for me too. Like for whatever reason, the lyrics, along with like the music and the instrument choices, just paints this like imagery in your mind that like takes you along with it. So to me, Keane does that. Flaming Lips does that really well. So that's the first band that I chose. The second one is Tool. Tool just creates this fucking mood, and it's dark and provocative and like this genius complexity, and it's super like unique, and it kind of angsty. I don't know. So that I like Tool a lot just because of all of those reasons. Definitely creates like a mood and kind of puts you in a certain place. And I like music that can do that. And then the one that's probably most like me, but the one that, and it's relevant, but I chose it because it's relevant and because it kind of, I feel there's a similarity to my music, even though to me, this artist is like not super deep. I don't resonate with her a whole ton, is Lana Del Rey. Yeah. So that would probably be my third choice, just because it's most relevant currently of who I like, I guess.
And like, do you feel like it's like your music sounds similar, but your vibes are so different, or is it like?
I don't know I think her lyrics to me and the stories that she creates at times almost fall flat for me. Like I start to go along with her, but then I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if I'm too critical of her or if she's just a little bit shallow compared to the complexities of like, you know, Keane's melodic lines or Tool's like absolute genius rhythms and, you know, mood. She creates really cool soundscapes, and I like that she is a female vocalist with a strong piano kind of core. That's where our similarities overlap. But
she was kind of doing this like where, you know, she's getting some traction on like the potty mouth aspect of her lyric writing.
There's a trendiness to her, and I don't know if that's the part that I kind of don't follow.
I hear more of a darkness in her stuff than in your stuff, Jenna. Like, I don't know why, but it's like she would be like I don't know, just like rougher, or maybe it's the pot. Like, I don't even think it needs to be like the potty mouth aspect, but just like there's like a.
It depends what you mean by darkness.
Like a street cat, like a stray cat kind of vibe.
Okay, so going back to the question from earlier, is it the lyrics or is it the music or is it both?
I don't fucking know.
For me, like when I think of Lana Del Rey, I think that it's both.
Wait, which question?
Like about the darkness that you hear in her music. Does it come from the lyrics, or if the lyrics were different, would you feel differently about the vibe?
I think right. I like the street cat thing. I think that there is kind of like a rough edge quality to her that I don't feel like I am very in tune with. I think that I'm more kind of
you're more of a house cat, which I don't know if that's like, if you, depending on what you think of yourself, like that could be a compliment or it could be insulting, but it's like, I'm trying to figure out, it's not a good enough like reason for me. I think we can get better at figuring out what that street cat vibe is or whatever.
I feel like it's like Lana Del Rey has this strong thread of nihilism through all of her music, and Jana definitely is void of nihilism.
Or is it in the lyrics part?
It's in her songwriting. It's in her songwriting, and so I feel like when she's telling the story, things are like it's like this. It's part of the steel beams that build the building. And so it kind of, everything is sitting on top of that. Brett, can you help me out with some more architecture metaphors because you're an architect?
It probably is more the lyrics as a very short answer.
No, there's a voice thing too. It's like there's like a smoky, like she sounded like she might have been a smoker or you know.
Which is ironic because I was.
Yeah, you were probably more of an actual smoker, but it's like there's like she would be like a witch in like a Disney movie or something. Like there's that kind of vibe. Like,
and I would be a priestess.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd be. I'm trying to think of some characters. I don't know. It doesn't. You guys know what we're getting at though, and I don't think.
Yeah, like she's in a Disney movie and like she like looks. This is my vibe. That you like see her and she looks really pretty, but then you see like under her sleeve and her arm, and she's actually like decrepit and old.
Like Cruella de Vil vibes, dog.
Yeah, big Cruella de Vil vibes.
And Janice would be more like maybe like Galadriel or something from Lord of the Rings.
Fuck yeah.
One of the puppies.
No.
No.
Wait, who does
that was me holding a puppy, by the way.
Who does Kate Blanchett play in Lord of the Rings? Is that
you?
Does anyone know her character? Is it Galadriel? See,
yeah.
Get on this nerdy ass wavelength, Gabby.
No.
Get on our level.
I tried to read The Hobbit several times, and I could not do it. I couldn't do it. Sorry.
Anyways, those are my 3 picks.
All right, now on to Kit.
Do you want them all at once? Or
Yeah.
Are you just gonna say all 3 names? Just like
because I would like to go sequentially backwards from in time, and there's no particular reason I would like to do that, but I think that it builds the story in a more fun way.
Well, I mean, do what you're gonna do.
You do you, bro.
Yeah.
So I picked 3 because that feels like a very good number, and
magic number.
It's yes, and I can feel my Adderall wearing off. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. So the first band is Dire Straits, which is an oldie but a goodie. And the reason that I picked them is because I like that they sing what are essentially pop songs, but are like masquerading as these like heavier songs just because they like are mostly guitar based and stuff. And I don't know, that feels very like something that I aspire to. I don't know if I'm like actually achieving that, but no one wants to comment.
I think like that concept, I think you're on that path, but I would never have guessed Dire. When I think Gabby or Murphy K, I do not think Dire Straits.
So Akko used to get Fleetwood Mac sometimes. And that's like the closest anybody that I think anybody ever guessed. And it wasn't even one that I came up with. Was
that like kind of foreshadowing? The demise?
Except Mark and I we were never...
Well, you don't have to date each other to hate each other.
I don't hate Mark.
I was using the word hate just because.
Is Mark Stevie Nicks?
It was a good rhyme.
Okay, scheme. Shut up, bitch. I'm Stevie Nicks. Where are you?
I like making Gabby angry.
Mark was like Lindsey Buckingham. I was trying to think of if anywhere on the internet I did a quick index to see if I had ever said something shitty about Lindsey Buckingham on the internet. And then it's documented.
All right, that's another one though. I'm just going to pitch in and say I don't see Fleetwood Mac vibes, but I'm not a huge Fleetwood Mac listener. Jana, Shane, do you guys see any?
Because you are evil? Is that why?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I never listened to a whole lot. I had like a female Fleetwood Mac record, but I never really listened to it much. And I've even though I'm old, I also haven't listened to Dire Straits. But my first guitar teacher of all time, who is now a right-wing whack job, like just total like. I had to defriend him recently because I looked at his Facebook page because he commented.
Did he die today?
No, I mean he might have, but like he was. It's just all like insanity. Anyway, but he was super into Dire Straits when I first started taking guitar lessons when I was like 12. And he was all about Mark Knopfler's finger picking stuff, which I guess is really amazing.
It is. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's supposed. I just never got. I should listen.
There's a guitar solo in the song "Lady Writer," and it's like insane. It's like and it's like so fast, but you can tell that he's like doing some combination of like finger picking and like slap bassing his guitar, and it's going so fast, and your brain is just like inundated with like notes. It's crazy.
Dude, I want that to be my ringtone, just you impersonating that guitar solo. Yeah. Sorry, I have to pick. I want to be in an important meeting and just have that go off on my phone and be like,
one moment, please. If you'll excuse me. Yeah.
All right. So, but was Fleetwood Mac one of your picks, or was that just like?
No, that was a bonus. I threw that one in for you.
Tracy Chapman's bonus, by the way. Continue.
First of all, hell yes. So number 2 is jumping forward in time. I am definitely not stalling because I forgot. Screaming Females. And this one I picked maybe specifically because they're not like me. Oh, second thing I wanted to say about Dire Straits was that I like that they have like a very witty lyric writing style. And I don't know if that comes off in my writing. Screaming Females was 2, and I don't know, I think that they're very dissimilar from my style, but last year on Spotify, I was part of, I can't remember if it was 5% of a percent or if it was 1% of a percent, where I was in their top however many top echelon of listeners. Like I listened to more Screaming Females than like any other person. So it feels like really weird that my music wouldn't reflect that.
Yeah, like I would have expected that. I'm just jumping in all over the place, but I know Shane and me have talked about like your musical diet. Like because I think that's a common phenomenon. Is like what you listen to ends up coming out in your songwriting. Like it just happens. You are what you eat, kind of thing. So I don't know why it wouldn't, but it sounds like it didn't work like that for you, or it doesn't work like that for you.
I mean, I think it would take some like psychotherapy because I would have to go like dredge up what I listened to like as a child. Maybe that would be enlightening about like how I ended up writing songs. I don't know if that's like, if that affects it more than other people or what.
Like content wise or music wise?
Music wise.
Okay.
What style is Screaming Females? Do they sound like their name?
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking like Riot Girl, no, but like sort of harder rock, punk music. I would say like post 2000s punk almost. Okay. But like with more of a, I don't know, I'm going to say punk rock.
I think like if you're confused about why you're the music that you've written hasn't turned out like that, it also
could be. I think we're about to say the same thing. Go ahead.
I was going to just say that it could just be the circumstance of who you're playing music with, right? So it's like if you're not running into a couple other angsty people that really want to like get down on shit, and you run into someone that's more chill to make a band with, then that's going to greatly affect your development as a songwriter in general. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas if you found like people that were like just super into punk,
I like probably would have ended up in a punk band.
Yeah, and then you would hear more. So you're probably getting like some type of something's coming out of that. It's just not going to be in an obvious way. Like I was saying, like for me, it's like I listen to Kanye West a lot, but it's if I make music today, it's not going to sound like Kanye West. But yeah, anyway.
So we weren't going to say the same thing. I was going to say it could have something to do with the fact that Marissa Paternoster's guitar skills are such an integral part of that, that it sort of like is a boundary to even sound like them, because it would require the use of like a lot of like riffage and guitar soloing skill that I just do not possess.
Sweet riffage, man.
I say the same thing.
So it's interesting that so far your first two picks are basically in one way or another like guitar virtuoso people.
Yes. And my third is Carlos Santana.
No, it's not. Is it?
No.
Oh.
But it is Rob Thomas, the other half of the iconic song from, is it 1999 or 2000? Smooth. Oh, such a
I'm
good
telling
song.
you right now.
And it's just like the ocean under the moon.
Oh my God, I make music
Yeah,
like
me
fucking
too.
Matchbox 20, and I'm having a fucking moment about it right now.
Yeah.
What?
I just realized that the music I make could be reliably compared to Matchbox 20, and I had to have a moment with myself about it.
Dude, but okay, see what you're doing what I said that I do. Like Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas would be in my collection of bands that I would listen to. Not so much anymore, but like even a couple years ago, and if I had talked to someone about this, I would not share them.
Last Beautiful Girl, man. That's like fucking good song. Anyway.
I don't even know that song.
Brett. It's like my favorite Rob Thomas song.
But see, like,
the ocean.
yeah. But see, secretly you like them, right? Do you like Matchbox 20?
I think I like Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20 equally as much. And I also like unabashedly love like Bare Naked Ladies in the same vein. And so
we know, Gabby.
I'm quitting music. Goodbye.
Wow, Brett. Did Brett fall off?
I don't know. He just like ended up in the dark.
I know, that's why I like being able to just retreat back into the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sorry, Gabby. Sorry, I know it was douchey, but
no, it was pretty funny. Yeah.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is a band called Ballpark Music.
Okay.
And I don't think any of you know them.
Mm-mm.
But they're also consistently in my Spotify Wrapped.
if I look them up on Pitchfork, what would it say? Or just any other blog? Do they have like a reputation?
Yeah, I would look it up on Triple J, and they're like it's one of those bands that's like they're very popular in their home country, but they're like very much not known outside of there. So they're from Australia.
Oh, okay.
And Triple J is a radio station in Australia that also has like a lot of like, it's kind of like, what's that one out on the West Coast where people go and it's just that people just know them by their call letters?
KROQ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I know that
the
because
same idea.
That was in a Sugar Ray song, dog.
Yeah. So it's like the same as that sort of deal where they're like a media conglomerate or as well.
What is it?
Ballpark Music.
I ran into this band a little bit ago, and they had been around since I think like the late 80s or something. The band's called Comet Gain. And I just ran into them. It was in the last year or something. And I heard this band and I'm like, I can't believe I've never heard this band before. It was just like everything that I liked about music. And I was just blown away and just listened to like all of their stuff for like a couple months straight, to the point where I was doing sound. What the hell was playing? It was like some big English band. I don't know if
Coldplay?
it was like, no, it was like, I don't know if it was,
the 1975?
No, it was like,
Wait, is Coldplay
Yes.
not American?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Neither is Keane.
Why? I just like had a like gut feeling that they were from Boston.
No.
it was like Echo and the Bunnymen or something was playing. And I asked those dudes, I'm like, did you ever hear of Comic Gain? And they're like, oh yeah, we know Comic Gain. Like, from blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I just heard of them. They're like, oh, yeah, we used to play shows with them. I was like, okay.
Dude, that's some weird stuff. And then other bands get famous, like I think Kings of Leon was actually pretty big in England for like a couple of years before Sex on Fire or whatever was their like
I was
breakout
like
hit here.
10 when that song became popular, and I need to tell you that I was fucking mortified every time it came on when I was in the car with my parents. I was like, don't make eye contact. So, Ballpark Music, I will keep it short because it's like a band that people don't really know. But I think that I really enjoy their eclectic mix of instruments. So they have keys, and a lot of their music has some like not electronic necessarily, but like synthesizer based sounds, and some of them are like more like piano or whatever. But I just really like their mix of those more we'll stick with eclectic. The eclectic.
I can do that to you, Gabby.
What?
I said I can put that in your
That's
music.
why I'm so grateful for Jana, because I can't do any of that crap. I'm also the dumbest when it comes to music theory out of the whole bunch. So, and I feel like music theory is very much based on the piano, at least in Western music.
Yeah.
It's the most transparent, I think, on the piano. Like all the notes are literally there.
Yeah, that's probably,
You
part
can
of
see
it.
that you push them.
You can get like I was really bad at music theory too. I took alto sax in 6th grade and some other stuff. But
Brett laughs.
like I
Here's from
didn't.
Shane.
Dude,
This makes me laugh.
Dude, I had a white shirt. Like, so at middle school, I went to Shoals Middle School, and I actually had a white sweatshirt made with a Black Panther on it because that was like the Shoals, like spirit animal or whatever you call it, and then the school animal. And I had it say Shoals, and I wore a gold necklace with one of those Italian horns, and I played alto sax.
This is the Shane I want to know.
Yeah, so Casey and I have this like at some point in the future, we're starting this reality TV show called Dominic Ferrari and the Nameless Taoist, where he just wears a loincloth, and then I wear this Ferrari hat and sunglasses, and I have a mustache, and I drive a Ferrari, and we just travel across the country with him being the Nameless Taoist and me being this kind of like douchier version of myself.
Sounds like a Wild at Heart character.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing and it'll just be a reality show. So look forward to that.
I like that you fully made characters for yourself and then described it as a reality show.
Well, by that time, like it's like we'll grow into ourselves. Like that's our future selves. You know what I mean? So yeah, the future reality is different than this reality.
That's your next bigger shell, hermit crab.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So there were, back to ballpark music, there was keys element.
Yes, key element, and like that incorporates like a lot of different sounds, at least, because you can, synth it out and do samples and pads.
What
and shit.
style are they? Like what genre of music do they fall under?
Pop rock, I'd say. Or just rock, like very straightforward kind of rock music.
Which sounds a little bit more how I would describe your stuff.
Yeah, so this band is the one that comes closest to what I would say is both what I am doing now and what I am trying to do. Like right now I feel like I'm doing ballpark music type songs, but like shittier. Like it's like not there. It's not the same.
They're only shittier because they'd be shitty if they were ballpark music songs, but they're Murphy K songs. It's like
they're not bad songs. They're just
they're you. It's like everyone's kind of like, if you compare it to like another band, they're gonna be worse. No one can be you but you, Gabby.
We're getting
wait, I wanna go back. I think this can be for everyone, but like especially Jana with Keane, because I have a soft spot for Keane too. I think you probably are more into them than I am. But like, without reading the review, like, what could you guess what Pitchfork, why they would have been hating on Keane? Like, put yourself in their writing shoes.
I think Pitchfork really likes the kind of almost fringe concept of music. Does that make sense? Like they don't connect and attach themselves to mainstream or to mainstream ideas or things that are very straightforward. And I feel like Keane has such a clear sense of melody and songwriting that that's what they tend to think is like overdone. I think that Pitchfork kind of goes more, they lean heavier on like uniqueness and things that are being explored versus have been explored. Does that, I don't know if that
I think you're getting at what they were getting at, just with like from a different point of view. Like
I think if I had to guess, like I would say that Pitchfork thinks that Keane is hollow. Like there's not substance behind it. It's a lot of very talented performers that basically add up to nothing. Like the Emperor has no clothes at the end. That's how I would describe Keane.
Gabby, you want to answer this too?
I think that, I think Pitchfork thinks they're doing what Shane's doing, but they're actually doing what Jana says they're doing. That's my read on it. It's like they believe in their mission and they think that that's why they're doing it. But like deep down inside of them, it's like the kid who's like, I'm not like other girls.
I'm alternative.
Yeah.
I think if I remember from the actual review, it was more kind of along what Shane was saying, but I think that there's like a saccharine quality that they thought Keane was, and they also quinoa. Anyways, there's like a saccharine quality. There's Shane like that. Look at him laugh.
I like it. Like you just derailed yourself. Like you're like, wait, there's a joke in there.
It's just like when it's the awareness of recording. I like listen to myself more, and then I'm listening as I'm talking, and I heard quinoa, whatever. So
I listen to myself speak. I just let her.
Dude, if I was a bully from the '80s and I saw Keane, that's what I would call him. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, quinoa? You playing your little guitars there, quinoa?"
Are you bullying the band collectively right now?
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys a story about Keane? Because I recorded them in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
So they were playing the Riverside, and they were recording at every city. They were doing demos, and so they come down to. I've probably maybe told you guys this story before, but they come down to do their demos. Number one, that singer is like he is amazing. Like, oh my God! Like he would do vocals. He would just do the first take that he did. And it was literally better than 99.9% of everyone I've ever recorded in my life. And then he's asking for feedback, and like the keyboard player's giving it to him. But I'm just like, I wouldn't even know where to start to critique this. I have no idea. It's just so good.
Well, frankly, Shane, I'm disappointed that you don't think that my voice is the most beautiful you've ever recorded.
Yeah, well, you three represent the 0.1% that like he wasn't better than.
Thank you.
So anyway, another fun fact about Keane from the experience is that the singer writes none of the lyrics or anything. Like all the songs are 100%, from my experience with that set of demos, which was in like 2008 or something. All the songs are written 100% by the keyboard player, and the singer just sings.
And I find that abhorrent. Not for any like actual reason, but just because it like hurts my brain. Because my brain wants singer to be main character.
Right. So anyway, so they're recording, and they're at my place for like 4 or 6 hours or something like that before their show. And at one point they get hungry, and they're like, "Oh, is there any restaurants around here?" And at the time, my studio's in the basement of my grandparents' house, and like we live off of 27th and Howard in Milwaukee. And so I'm like, "Oh, right up on 27th Street, there's all these fast food places. You can just go up there." And they're like, "Is there anything in walking distance?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's like all this stuff." And I tell them which way to go on 27th Street. So the two of the dudes from the band go, and they go and pick up food for the other people. So they what they end up doing is they end up going to Pick and Save and buying food, like the grocery store. And Pick and Save, did you guys ever see those? They're called Boss sandwiches. It's BOSS, and it's an acronym for big, and they're like this big.
Wait.
Yeah, you cut.
You cut out. They were like, you stand for.
Am I?
You're gonna.
You're back.
Okay. Okay. So Pick and Save sells these things called Boss sandwiches, and it stands for Big Old Sub Sandwich, BOSS, and they're like literally this big, and So they come back with their paper bag of Pick and Save food. They bought nuts and some other snacks and stuff like that. And they go up to it's like the manager went with the guitar player or something of the band. And the manager goes to the keyboard player. He's like, "Oh, hey man," like, so they're English, and I'm not going to do a shitty accent, or whatever, because I just can't do English accents.
It'd be funnier.
But so he pulls out like this Boss sandwich, and he's like, "Here, man, I bought you a sandwich." And like the keyboard player looks at it, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" And he's like, "I know." And they're all laughing, and they're like, "It's like America as a sandwich."
Yeah, I remember that story.
Bigger's better.
Yeah.
I think I would get those. Like, I got like those a few times, and I would eat it through like a week.
Yeah. You
like
would
in college, like I
cut
was
strips. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking funny. It is America as a sandwich. There's a quality about like the Somewhere Only We Know, and I think the music video, there's like this little creature, like woodland creature, and like there's something very sweet about it that I wanna like rub it in the dirt to like make it dirtier, like that, or give it like a.
Well, maybe that's why I like it so much, because it's so pretty.
It is pretty. It's like almost sickeningly pretty. Like it's sickeningly.
It's saccharine. I think that's like a great word.
Yeah, but I like it, and I don't know.
It paints this lush, beautiful rainbow scenery in my head, and like that's what I love about it. Like I just get
rainbows.
Soaked up in
black.
Do you know who Thomas Kincaid is? Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Yes, I know.
Okay,
professor named that.
I actually hate that artwork, but I know what you're getting at, and share
your screen. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll recognize the art.
Doug, why am I dumb? Why can't I figure this out? All right, you seen this?
Black screen.
It's black. It's black.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I've had issues before with this. I'll just kind of explain it.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, so Thomas Kincaid is like.
It kind of looks like each one of those of his paintings are another person in our giant group meeting.
Yeah.
There's no one else seeing that.
Like, I think this is rude to call Keane like Thomas Kincaid of like bands, but there's some similarity.
The Rivendell of bands.
I
Yeah, who, what, now?
think it's halfway between, to be honest. Like there's something about it that's this and less.
Is this a
Lord
nerd
of the
joke
Rings.
or is this like a art joke?
It's not a joke. It's
Rivendell is where Galadriel resides.
The who, what, fuck now?
okay.
All right, I'm done. Lord of the
That's just okay. Yeah. Now we're just gonna start over with this analogy. So like I remember when I took like art history, that my professor used Thomas Kincaid as an example of kitsch, like what kitsch is, and like I was like, oh, okay, I get it, but I also like they're nice. Like it was weird to me. That was the first time where I was introduced to the idea that like being pretty and nice was not like good. Like growing up, like I thought that was good. If it's pretty and nice, that's good. And it's like, this is not only pretty and nice, it's like the prettiest and the nicest you could ever have. And there is a lack of substance. And there is like I want to like, if I'm being honest, I kind of want to bully the paintings a little bit. Like
it is weird that I like Keane, and then I also love like my next band was Tool. Like they're Tool.
That is a weird contrast. But I think
that's
you guys. Can you anyone want to fight me or agree with me on the Keane as Thomas Kincaid? Maybe we can call him. They're like, there's some parallel there. Anyone?
Yeah,
I see it.
Parallel.
I wouldn't the analogy myself, but I see it.
There's also some, I like John Mayer's has like a douche quality too. But let me just guess the last thing. But that was a turning point when I stopped liking John Mayer too. When I was like 21, I liked him like in high school, and then when I was like, oh, there's like, I changed from liking stuff that was like talent and like sounded nice into like something I hope was like deeper.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming along with us on this journey. I felt like we could have talked about this for like a really long time.
This was good.
I didn't have a limit on the amount of data I'm allowed to use in uploading the video. All right. Bye.